Okay, go. Go ahead, Jamie.
Hi, Esmeralda. It's Jamie. How are you doing today?
I'm okay. I'm just feeling frustrated.
So I see that you're saying that you feel frustrated. What do you mean by that you're feeling frustrated today?
You know what? I think right now is just, I'm really trying to get a handle on like work-life balance, and it's sometimes I just feel like I have a grasp of everything and everything's going well and smoothly, and I just feel like there's always like a monkey wrench being thrown at me, and right now I'm just having a really hard time with I'm going to school right now, so I have a really hard time right now in one of my classes. And it's really frustrating me.
Why do you believe that you're having a hard time with this one class?
You know what? It's just like very frustrating because I just feel like I have to dissect everything, and then I feel like I'm spending so much time on just not thinking how I normally would and trying to put like my like I just feel like I'm watching out for like mechanics instead of just trying to write a paper, and I'm not saying it's not important because it is, but I don't know, it just for me, like I find myself consuming too much time there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, can you tell me more about like what is your goal for the next, because we've already completed 2 weeks, so we have 6 more weeks. Tell me what your goal is for the next 6 weeks.
Um so I have been kind of like looking like really trying to be mindful of like the things that I need to include. Um and I think I don't know. You know what it is? It's like I just don't want to feel so stressed out. It's really starting to like really affect me. Like I don't like feeling that way because I've never really been in that situation, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Yeah. So for me, I guess my goal is going to be to just try to do my best and ask maybe someone to review my work,
Uh-huh.
and that way I can just make sure that I'm doing it right. Um I think that'd probably be the best thing for me. It's just that, again, it's kind of like frustrating. That part's even that's frustrating. You know what I mean? Because I usually I don't like bothering people, if that makes sense.
No, it does. Can you tell me more about how you can help relieve the stress, the tension? Think about, those videos we've watched. Is there anything that can practice before?
You know what I usually always do anyways. Like I'll start my week. I make that my priority in when the week starts, when our week starts on a certain day. So like that day, I try to tackle as much of the work as I can. I start reading the directions to make sure that I have like two. I actually have two screens where I put one with the directions, and then and I have like a Word doc where I'm actually making sure that like, okay, did I cover that part? Did I cover that part? Is this question the question that's being asked of me? And then does that make sense? So
Hmm.
I think the frustrating part is that I'm getting too kind of too involved, and like I'm reading too much into it, and that's what I think is bothering me. I think that that's what's bothering me because I start to feel uneasy, like stressed.
How can you just look at the week instead of the whole 8 weeks? Can you just see just focus on that week of how many points you're getting for this week and kind of forget the past 2 weeks and kind of do a fresh start?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to do that because it's like I just finished my master's in December, and so this was just more. This class is like and I think the other frustrating part is, and I'm, you know what, at the end of the day, I really like this class, and that's what keeps me going. Like that's what I really really enjoy, like learning, and I've learned so much. Um, I've just learned so much, and for me, it's so worth it, and I'm getting so much out of it. And I think that that's the part is that like when you enjoy something, everything kind of flows, and I just feel like that's why I feel that way because I'm like totally like learning like more than I ever have in like a class that I enjoy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like learning
And it
so about it. And so like I am gonna have to take it week by week because if not, I already know myself and I'm gonna be the type of person that's like, F it. You know what I mean?
and you have to keep remembering that like this is an important thing for you. You want to do this. So why is achieving your goal of completing this class important to you? That's what you have to focus on and remember every week is what is the goal of this after this class? This is only 8 weeks. So what's your end goal?
You know what my end goal is that, and I'm gonna kind of go back to what I said, like the importance of this class is what I'm learning because I'm a supervisor, and I have noticed that as I'm using some of these tools that I'm getting, just even when I'm talking to my workers, it's been like an incredible change just in their work, you know, because I've always been kind of like a motivator and I've always liked to be that way, just to kind of bring people up. And so just kind of having these tools and like knowing a little bit more about just the way to coach, I think that that's been very effective for me. So like for me, I'm getting a lot out of it, and I feel like the people that I work with are getting a lot out of it because I'm seeing it in their work. That makes sense. Like you know what I mean? Like I try to encourage them, and I try to find out what their kind of barriers are to getting their work done. Specifically, I have this one worker right now who she's basically she's being what do you call it? My manager basically has me writing her up right now because she's new to me, but she basically has me like writing down everything that she's kind of not doing, if that makes sense.
So you're kind of micromanaging her, but writing her up for everything.
You know, I don't like that because I feel like she deserves a chance because maybe she was with the wrong person being supervised. And so I understand her point. And so for me, I just don't like seeing people fail. So that's why I feel like, you know, just the things that I'm learning are helping me help her.
Mm-hmm.
And she, you know what I mean? To kind of just get her to where she needs to be, because she's a good, like, she does well. It's just that she just like her time management is just like really off.
So how could you kind of coach her, guide her, even with your time management with the school? You know, you're frustrated with the class. How can you turn this around and use what you're practicing onto her so that maybe you can help her job performance increase? It's kind of like practice what you preach in a sense, like you're learning it, you know, you're frustrated, but how can you bring that back to her? And then at the end of the day, that will make you feel better. So then you can go back and focus on your papers.
Yeah. I don't know. That's still like a work in progress. I'm still just trying to, I'm just still like, again, I think what it is I'm starting to feel, I think what it's really just starting to, the fact that this class is stressing me out, it's kind of making me stress out in other areas of my life. That's what it is. I think that's the, for me is that I don't like feeling like this because it shouldn't be an issue. So what I'm going to do, like I said, I think the best thing to do for me right now is just to double check with someone else on my stuff and then take it from there. Because at least I can get some, that makes sense? I can get.
Is there anything that's getting in the way right now of doing that?
No. No, I just never really, you know, thought to kind of get outside help, and that's what I think I need to do now. It just I don't know. I've never really had an issue. So now that I'm having it, it's kind of just like, okay, let's tackle this. And that's kind of like my mindset. You know, I just really want to, I kind of want to just get it done. You know, I want to just get it done.
That's good. I think we are out of time, Beth, or
you have another 2 minutes.
Okay, I just got a thing that popped up. It was kind of weird.
But other than that, like, you know, the other thing too that I think is like, again, I kind of talked to you about my worker and stuff, and like I said, like a lot of these, I really, this class is very important to me because I know I'm going to get a lot out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why that's why even more so it's even more important because it's helping me to help other people.
So I just want to make sure that we have an action plan for when we hang up, you're done with this conversation. I just want to, you know, double check that. How are you going to know that you achieved your goal? What are you going to do as soon as we end this session for your next paper?
Well, for sure, because I'm going to write it ahead of time to make sure that it's going to be okay. I'm going to check in with someone else and see if they can take a look at it and give me some feedback. And, I'm just not gonna allow myself to get so into that space of like getting frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
Because that I do that, I notice that like it messes me up, and then I start to just kind of get like irritated, and I don't like that feeling because I'm usually like, you know, I like to be positive. I like to stay positive. I kind of want to flow in what I'm doing. Like when I'm doing stuff, I want to flow into it. I don't want to feel like it's like a task.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a certain day or time that you're going to send it to your peer to kind of peer review before? Then that way you don't lose those simple points of if it being late, if the friend can't do it on time, like by Tuesday, like what's your end?
I think I'll probably send it like 2 days before, just to make sure that I give that person enough time to help me out, because again, I have to be, I have to be respectful of their time too, and everyone has on. And I think once I get maybe like some feedback, that will just help me a lot for the weeks coming up.
Mhm.
Okay, that's a great answer. And now we're moving on to Angel. Go ahead, Angel.
Hi, Esmeralda.
Hi.
It sounds like you really care about the work performance that you put forth at work and with school. And I wanted to know if you could tell me a little bit more about how you are implementing the tools with your employees and the difference you're seeing at work.
So like the one thing, first and foremost, it's like I really like the whole kind of when you actually get to see, I've always kind of been the person that kind of can feel other people's kind of energy. And so that's always been helpful to me, because I kind of can get like a feel for how people are, or like where they're sensitive. And so for me, I kind of like, I like to use that as a positive way, because then I'm like, okay, let me find out what motivates them. Like, let me like what motivates them, or what makes them, what do they feel like is an obstacle for them. So then as we're talking, I'll just be like, I'll ask them the questions of like, where do you see, where do you see that you need more help? Or, what part of the job is like really, is like, what part of the job, like kind of like stressing you out? Like, I want to know, like, what are the issues that are kind of that you're dealing with, so that we can work on those. And that way we're not just having like conversations about just like the ones that just don't sound like natural conversations. Like, that's one thing that I like to do with my staff, is like I like to put them like in natural settings, so that we can discuss difficult topics, but we can do it in a sense where it's like, hey, look, this is how it is, but let me, how can I help you so that you can that you can like be successful. And honestly, like I can honestly say that like I don't pass judgment on people that say, let's just say, because I know my worker, she was like, well, I'm having a hard time with like typing. She goes, and that was a hard one, because she's like, I'm having a really hard time keeping up with the writing, because they go out into the field and they have to they do investigations. So they talk to a lot of people, and then they have to write everything they said. So it's a lot of typing. And so like, I get it, and it's a fast paced environment. So I just kind of told her, like, the other thing, I like to also educate them on is like just letting them know what their options are. Like, I'm like, hey, usually in a program, especially when you're working for children and family services, I'm like, you usually only want to stay in a program for a certain amount of years, because then you kind of go into burnout mode. So I'm just like, like, have you ever thought about like, is there any other programs you're interested in? Like, what would you like to do? Because what I hate to see is when I have workers who end up getting like blacklisted, and then no one wants to take them when they try to do a lateral. And a lateral basically means that they have the same job title, but they go into a different program, because that's the cool thing, is that there's like 10 different programs that they can go into keeping their job title.
And how does that feel when you are helping them manage their stress?
I honestly love it, because I just feel like, what, if there's a way that we can talk about this, and like there's a way that we can figure this out, and if it's helpful, then I feel like I've done my job. If that makes sense. Like, for me, that's I just like, someone said something the other day, and it was so funny. They go, don't leave me with the cliffhanger. Like, talk to me, like, tell me what's going on. Like, even if it's like personal, like, I'm just like, I've been in a lot of situations in my life, like where I've had loss, like I've dealt with loss. I've dealt with, just like, being a single parent, like, just having sick parents, like, just, so for me, it's like, don't feel bad about that. Like, it's okay. Like, it's part of life. And like, if there's something you just need to that's like, if there's something personal that's going on, that's maybe holding you back, then, if you feel comfortable talking to me, then I want to talk about it. Like, I want to know that you're okay. Like, I want to know that you're mentally okay, that you feel satisfied, that it's not because you're kind of blacklisted, so you can't move to another program. Like, I'd be like, hey, let's work on a plan where we can get better at what you do, and then that way we can have you move. Does that make sense?
Yes.
What's the point in seeing people fail? Like, I don't get that.
Yeah. So it sounds like for you, it's really important to give others a voice, help support them. That means a lot to you. How would that help you currently in your class to feel like you have a voice and are being heard?
It's gonna have to be through making sure my papers are on point. That's the only way. There's no like, it's not up for discussion. You- I think my professor pointed out, like, I don't have the luxury of like telling you in person.
Mhm.
So that to me
Okay.
is,
Thank you so much, Angel. Okay, so we're
Oh,
gonna go
that was
into Beth.
fast.
So, okay, so that went a little long, sorry. And so when I'm talking to you, Esmeralda, like, what are you hoping to get out of our time together today?
just maybe a sense of like that, you know what, I think for me today, it's just kind of letting out my emotions.
So you just want to vent today, is that right?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just kind of like getting a hold of that and just moving forward, because that's when I feel stuck, like I want to deal with it and then I can move on.
Can you tell me more about like where you think this is coming from as far as you beating yourself up?
I think because I know that I try my best in everything I do. I really do. Um, I don't ever try to shortchange anything or like not try to understand something or be sloppy. It's like I take pride in what I do, and I think for me that's probably why that I'm feeling like that.
Mhm. So
Kind of like,
if you were your best friend, like if you were your best friend and you knew yourself really well, it sounds kind of confusing, but like, and they came to you with this problem, what advice would you give?
I would probably say something along the lines of like, um, talk to your teacher, see what they're expecting, kind of see where, what it is that what are they what I'm, I would probably even say like, give me an example of something, you know. Um, you know what it is? I think now that I'm really thinking, I think it's just the assignments. The directions are just so like everywhere. I feel like it's like a scavenger hunt sometimes. I'm like, okay, you're asking for this from this place, and then you're telling me to go back to this place and pull that out of there and put it in here. And so it's kind of like, I think that's what it is. I think it's that direction where it's just like, why can't it just be transparent and just tell me what you need, and then that's it?